Hey everybody, so yeah, I just I just watched my video that I uploaded. Man, that was a rant. Uh, use it or lose it. That was a heck of a rant. Yeah. So I definitely have to get my mind off of that stuff, and it is time to do something a little more fun. I did watch Friday. There was a live stream from the Angular team, and I watched it, and it was good. It was really good. It was really neat, and actually, it did. I'm glad I brought that up because I before I get moving, I do need to do an upgrade on my code. I believe I'm in Angular 19. Let's see, point one, I think, and apparently Angular 19. Oh, I'm on Angular 19.0. Angular 19.2 came out, and they did add like something that I think is going to be really neat, and was probably a really good step in the right direction with string literals in their in the markup for markup. So and with standard, like using the dollar and the curlies. So I definitely want to get that. Now, if I remember correctly, I need to be before I can do an update. I need to, and I don't do this often, so I can't do this out of memory. But I do need to have everything committed, and so I had a couple of changes. I don't know why would I do that? Let's get that change out of there. I just removed some stuff, so let me just go ahead and commit that. Git add dot. There's no way this broke unit tests or end-to-end tests, so I can just commit it, I think. Uh, Moves unused imports. Now, I don't think this actually does anything. Like, I think if you have an unused import, when you transpile this into JavaScript, it just doesn't import it. Would be my guess, but I don't know. Would be fun to it'd be fun to check that out, but to experiment with that, like check out the bundle sizes and stuff after you do an import. But I'm 99% sure that it doesn't. Okay, so I need to do an import. I hope I haven't used up uh, all my credits with ChatGPT. Although I guess it doesn't cut me off completely, um, because I guess it just gives me from Chat 4.2 to Chat 3 or something like that. And I don't know what this temporary means. Toggle temporary chat. Oh, it looks like maybe I could use voice instead. Um, I kind of like I use voice all the time, so it's a skill I don't really need. I don't think. Um, Learning how to talk, and I think that um, keeping the skill of typing stuff in is a skill that I need to keep. So I think I won't do voice. But anyways, it sucks that you have to think through everything now. Because like we have our own life experience has to be like we can really sabotage ourselves by just simply doing something, without thinking about it. But anyways, I have Angular A and Angular 19 project. I would like to upgrade it. Upgrade it to 19.2. Okay. Let's do this. this. I think I can just do this. And just double check. So I cannot npm run ng version. I think ng is in there. There we go. Yeah, 19.06. Oh, but see, actually, so it is 19. I'm in 19.1. I thought I was at 19.1, but so then I want to do this, and I believe it's going to make me, and I need to do npm run. The thing I like about doing an npm run, doing it that way, is that I'm sure it's not using some globally installed version, and I don't know if that's an issue anymore. Like, that might just be a vestigial behavior that I picked up at some point and has no value anymore, but it does make me comfortable. And if it actually quit working for me, then that would be interesting to be aware of. All right, so basically, I guess because we're doing the Angular core and the CLI 19, it's going to automatically go. Yeah, it says this will update Angular core and CLI to 19.2. Now, so it says that I have the dev kit architect of 1.9. Oh, okay, so that's not 19. But I have this build of 19.06, core of 1906, and schematics of 19.14, CLI of 19.14, and then schematics of 19.4, RxJS. And actually, very soon, I'm going to be bringing in Angular material, and then that makes this a little bit more complicated. But anyway, so let's see what happens. And one thing I do like about doing, I kind of would have liked to have done it separately. Maybe they needed to be done together. Would be I like being able to see the differences in Git between like if I'd have done Angular Core 19 and then Angular CLI 19 separately, it would have been kind of nice to see that. Looks like this is going to take a little while. Okay, so all it did was update my packages at this point. Let's take a look at that. So I probably need to do an npm install. But maybe it's doing, it looks like it's doing an npm install. But yeah, so I was watching the Angular team do their live broadcast. I really enjoyed it, but there's this guy, he's funny and clever, that he kind of runs it, and he said the funniest thing to me. It just had me laughing my butt off, because he's just like, man, when I'm not talking about this stuff, I can type and do this stuff so much easier. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what happens. We have intrinsic knowledge. That's how most of us learn how to code, through intrinsic knowledge. It is very difficult to articulate intrinsic knowledge. And when you do get to where you can actually articulate things, you tend to understand it a lot better. But what's funny about that is that every once in a while you will run into things that you actually cannot articulate. There is no human English sort of words for it, and that happens. Like, a lot of times you'll hear people when they're talking about, oh, there's no translation for this. This is a word, and there's no translation into English for this. It's just like a whole concept that just doesn't exist in English speakers. And and then so I've heard, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that if you actually learn Japanese, that here we go. It looks like, are we done? nope, it's still installing. If you actually learn Japanese, it is done now though. You will actually know their culture and their history too. Like it is all tied up in their language. Okay, so now we did two. I think we. I don't know if we have to commit this or not, but I'm just going to try to do the next thing. This is npm run ng update. Now I have dozens of projects on this machine, and they're all different versions of Angular. And so the one in the early days of these like library systems, CLIs, and all that, it was very easy to like accidentally run the wrong CLI. Like you might have a globally installed one that was the wrong one than the other one. Now I never globally install them. I don't think. Um, yeah, I don't. Obviously, it's not because it failed when I tried to run it. But I believe if I would have said ng, if I would have ran these with just the commands that it gave, and I had one installed, like an old one, I think it would have used the old one instead of the one that's for this project. So that's why I do that. Okay, it looks like. Okay. Good work. It says we analyzed your package.json. Everything seems to be in order. Good work. Thank you. Now it says verify the updates. Let's do our ng version. That was like something I ran a while back. Yeah, so everything's 19.2. Now let's start it. And I don't really consider any of that stuff verified. Let me see. I don't think this is running anymore. So component HMR, so that is hop module replacement. I learned that yesterday. HMR apparently kind of screwed up, or did screw up a lot of the things that they were trying to demonstrate in yesterday's Angular live stream, because I guess they were trying to demonstrate like deferred loading and bundle loading, and they're trying to look in the network, and apparently the HMR kind of bypasses some of that stuff. It also, they were running on server side rendering, and with the server side rendering, they it it they had to restart the server to get some things to happen. So yeah, that was interesting. They were kind of going back and forth. They were kind of blaming it on saying, "Oh, this is a bug," and then, "Oh, that's not a bug. Oh, wait, no, this is a known issue. No, this is," they kind of went back and forth. Um, I'll be interesting. I think Google really would love for everyone to do server side rendering, because I think it makes it a little easier for them um, to crawl a page. So they really would love that. I don't really care. So this is what I care about. I feel like I've done it when I see this in app root ng version. So I'm at 19.22. So that is good. I don't really plan to use any of the, at the moment. I guess it'll be fun to look in here. Yeah, so I think I would be able to use, all right, I think I can put backticks in here now. And that will break because I is no longer, and I think now with this, I can put that in like that, which is the standard non-Angular web component or JavaScript way to do these sorts of things. So I don't know. Maybe it didn't work. So now I'm going to try what they did and restart. And let's see if that. It's so funny. If you encounter application issues, yes, so that didn't work. That's probably has nothing to do with HMR. Hot module replacement, replacement, reloading. I don't know, but oh, that's not. That's going to be broken. So I don't know. I don't know why that didn't work. I thought that that's how that should work. I definitely want to keep my eye on. Let's see, HMR in hot module replacement. So I don't know. I don't know why that didn't work. Maybe I can't. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I needed this. It's so funny because this is exactly how it went with them yesterday too. And then, and I mean, trying to get stuff like this working is so much more fun in this sort of like working on your own project, just screwing around, than trying to figure it out at work. Yeah, so that I don't know why that temperate literal string is not working, but I would assume I'm probably doing something wrong. But that's my base assumption, and you know, with these sorts of things, they quite often are. You know, just like in that show, you know, they were like, "Oh, this is a bug," and then as they kind of work through it, they realize, "No, no, it's not a bug." I have found that is usually the case. That is normally the case. Oh, yeah, maybe it doesn't work very well with this binding. You know, I don't know, but I will definitely keep my eyes open. So I guess that is good for today. Let's see, how long is this video? 17 minutes. Yeah, that's a pretty good amount of time. So we did the upgrade. We're back. We're up to Angular 19.2 now. You know, nothing changed. Yet another nothing changed video. And then, you know, after I'm about to do a bunch of work to the next thing is to get this to be the positions to be calculated by a service. And well, maybe I'll do that. Git commit. Updates. Probably should have put the video number in there, but I haven't updated it yet. Let's see if I can do this from memory. Reset head 1. I believe that'll be. I don't think I had to do that, but okay, so. And this is going to be, I can't really tell. Let me change. Video 79. So basically all I did was undo my last commit so I could rewrite it. And that was it. And I hadn't, the reason that it wasn't that big of a deal is because I hadn't pushed. If I had pushed, then it's a little bit more complicated. There's a little bit more to think about. And I don't, I do it quite often without pushing. I don't know if you're working all by yourself. I think the problem can be if somebody pulls down and then you do a reset head like that. And then you do a new commit, it can really screw things up. I worked at one place where there was like 15 developers, and these guys would do this like reset head hard, blah blah blah, and double push things out, and they thought it was so funny. They didn't understand Git at all, and they were just like, I forced that to happen, and oh my god, it just would cause chaos throughout the whole team. Like no one could understand what was happening. Um, Basically, that was one of those jobs where like literally every hour I would pull and remerge my stuff with dev because they were constantly resetting hard stuff. And then they couldn't understand anything, and then they would get so mad. So I'm gonna push this one. Push, and then I guess there's one other thing I want to demonstrate, and I don't like this, but I just don't think there's a better way to do it. But I'm going to do this. Implements. And I believe it's on view. On update. God, I can't believe it's not helping me with that. Let's see. Angular lifecycle hooks. ng after view checked. I think this is the one I want to use. I believe this one just runs over and over and over again. Now, I would be very curious when this actually runs with respect to the animation request animation frame, but I have a feeling that's not a documented or defined thing. Every change detection cycle. Just like ng-view. Oh, after every change, just like ng, but it happens every time. Oh, so it only happens when change detection is triggered, whereas I guess after view init, so it only happens when it's actually triggered, not not on every change detection. So detection. What is a change? Oh, I wonder what is a change detection cycle. So I think that is the one I want to use. And do check runs every change detection cycle, runs before change detection, runs after it's updated. Okay, but this is going to quit working once we are going completely zoneless. However, in zoneless applications, change detection must be triggered manually. But we'll change detection ever run at all in zoneless applications if it is not manually triggered. There isn't a signal. Okay, so what if the see, I guess this is not, so it's going to use the old one. I thought I was running out completely because it seemed like it was happening fast. Okay, what user resizes screen change. So I have written code in lots of places that's going to break if it ever goes zoneless, if they ever make that so. Now, I don't think I've ever worked at a place that, like, a lot of people, their applications got stuck at Angular 14. They couldn't move forward because a lot of third party um, like component creators either just called it quits at 14 or they just made new components that aren't supported by they don't, are breaking changes, so they are just stuck. Okay, so I don't want this. So I guess what I want is, see, there's so many other things that I want to update on that I don't want to create event handlers. Um, yeah. So I don't know what to do. I guess I want to um, have like a set timeout or something. Um, or like a signal that acts as a. So I guess that change detection. I don't know. I do. So I think I didn't really want to do this, but I really, really didn't want to do this. But I think what I'm gonna have to do is, like, when the app component is constructed, do a set timeout that runs. No, I guess what I need to do is actually use the request animation frame. Um, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do is use the request animation frame, and on that check to see if anything needs to be updated. So that's kind of a bummer. And it is going to make for some complex scoping issues. Okay, so basically, I want to do something along these lines. I don't know. Now I'm confused. Okay, so basically, I just want to do this. It's kind of weird. Request animation frame. Like in this code, I don't. Does it just exist? Now, ThreeJS also has their little thing that I'm using, but I don't want. Yeah, I guess request animation frame. No. Oh, okay. So when we look in here, if it works the way I think it works, the way I've experienced it working in the past. Okay. I guess that just ran one time on the next request animation frame. And then maybe I need to run it again. Okay, yeah. So and then okay, so I'm console logging and then okay, so this needs to be a function. So, yeah, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this, but shouldn't. All right, so within this hello function, I will call the request animation frame. So that says, hey, the next time you're going to animate the frame, go ahead and do this first. And then I will say hello. Now it'd say up until this minute or today's session, I would have added this to the ng, one of the ng things. Okay, and I never call hello. Okay, so now we're just calling this, but what I want to do is have the time. I guess I could do that in here. Well, this needs to be let. And basically I want to figure out how many seconds has elapsed elapsed. So I don't do this very often. So in JS, determine how much happened elapsed. I should have signed off when I got done with it. So performance now or date now. So basically so time is equal to time to date. Date dot now minus time. So the first one will be big, but after that they should be small. Because it starts at 0. I guess there's no reason not to make the very first one date now, just so that'll be a little bit more. All right, so this should show us how long happens in between each request animation frame. And so the thing to keep in mind here is that like this number isn't the same. This is milliseconds. It is weird though that one of them is really big and one's really small. So this, I don't, it's weird to me that one of them is like, I think if we just click here, yeah, one of them is like a massive amount of time, like the amount of time since like probably the start, and the other one is like, I don't know what's going on there. It's weird. Okay, so time right now is 17,000. Time is equal to date now minus time, right? So let's go ahead and clear this. Go to sources, run it. I don't know why we don't have our. So basically now we have the time is 65,000. So it was like 6 seconds. I guess that's how long we were sitting there doing this stuff. And so now we'll run it again. Let's see. It seems like, see this time it's like this many milliseconds. Oh, it's because like, yeah, I don't know. That's weird. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? I guess it would be a lot easier to debug. Let's check that off. Run this thing, let it do its thing, and say const current time to date now. All right, that is the current time, right? Does everybody agree? And then we're going to change this to last time. apparently I say the word item a lot last time. Is that? So diff is equal to last time minus current time. That logic makes sense. Apparently I misspelled current time. I won't even pronounce that out loud because it doesn't sound like a proper word for people to speak. And then diff. And then last time is equal to current time. There we go. I don't know what the hell I was doing before. And it would be funny to kind of, but the most important thing to realize is that, so this is running at like different, it's not exactly the same amount of time. Every once in a while, yeah, we saw 37 in there. We saw 30. We see a lot of 33s. So it's like if we do this, what fastest is equal to last time. No. Fastest is equal to 0. Let slowest. And this is so important. This because I can't tell you how many people I've known that have tried to build like neat animations or neat music or neat anything, like that's time important, and they're like, it just doesn't sound right. It just doesn't look right. There's something a little off about it, and like you have to adjust these things for the actual amount of time, not especially with music. Your ear, it'll just sound screwy if you try to play music, but you try to do it on a regular basis. You have, because things don't actually happen on a regular. You have to calculate the time that's passed and then update appropriately for the time that passed. So we're gonna add this. So you don't want to do this either. You don't want to do these sorts of calculations inside of this animation frame, because it will slow down your application. It will make your application slower. You really want to just be checking for things in memory, because you could do that. It's lightning fast. It doesn't really affect it. Actually, or I've never seen anything where you did enough. But when you start doing calculations inside of these request animation loops, you can really screw things up. So basically, if the fastest is so this logic's not going to work, because nothing will, it'll never get out of there. Nothing will ever be faster than 0. So we got to start with something that it can be faster than. Then fastest is equal to diff. And then we're going to do this. Comma fastest. Oops. And then slowest. And that's the other way around. And you can really see it on an animation. Like if you move something across the screen and you just do it on, like, okay, on everything, these will actually look a lot smoother once we actually build in actual, like, it moves a specific amount based on how much time has passed, as opposed to just adding so much for every time it runs. But let's do the slowest. Slowest. Is greater than the diff. And then, so we're going to show the fastest one, and then we're going to show the current diff, the fastest one, and the slowest one. So, yeah, I don't know. Did I do those backwards? Okay, so the fastest one is, oh, if fastest is greater than diff, then the fastest, yeah. So if the difference is slower is less than the fastest one, then we get that. So let's see. So 581. So, oh, it's because it's negative. So, I don't know. My brain is for some reason not happy with this times -1. Yeah, okay, yeah, because the difference in time is negative, right? Right? If I say, oh yeah, because time is moving forward, so time's getting bigger. So we could do that. And I guess we could also just the current time minus the last time. So the fastest one that we've done is 10. And then, so if the slowest is greater than the diff, so the bigger the number, the slower it was, then it's like that. But the smaller the number, the smallest one is the fastest, right? Let's just do this, smallest. Sometimes my brain just doesn't work as well, and it's kind of nice when your brain isn't working as well, because you can write code that is a little easier to understand, because you kind of, for you to understand it, you have to write code a little simpler. So if the smallest is bigger than the diff, then the new smallest is the diff. And right now my smallest is 100. If the biggest is less than the diff, then the new biggest is the diff. And first I want to see my biggest one. And next I want to see my smallest one. So my biggest one is 832. So almost a whole second. My smallest one is 10. So, and they're typically around 34, 33 or 34. Um, so I think that that is like sort of like that would sound weird, right? Like if you were trying to do music based on this sort of thing. Even if you do say, hey, I want you to run this every hundredth of a second or tenth of a second or 60th of a second, it will it'll try to run it every 60th second, but it's never going to be exact. So you have to calculate the right spot based on the amount of time that's passed, not based on the number of times it's executed. Anyways, I can't even begin to tell you how many hours and hours and hours and hours and hours I've spent trying to get to the bottom of this issue. And I've explained this to tons and tons of people, and it has fixed their software. Um, and it is really weird. It's a really weird situation. But your stuff will just look a lot snazzier and cleaner if you you know pay attention to the actual time. I mean, if you calculate things based on the actual time that's passed, um, not on the number of times that it's elapsed. Anyways, more to come on that. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.